Hello there. How's everyone doing? This is Redskins Rant. Happened to be driving on my way back to Maryland to see my family before I move to do my new job. I'm moving to Philly. Okay. I'm still rocking my Redskins gear. I will be doing that the entire time out there, so if I end up dead in a while, you'll know why. But I want to comment on the trade, the big trade that happened like last night with Alex Smith. You know, there's a meme out there on Facebook that brings to mind, and I think of Dumb and Dumber when I watch it. It's a part where Lloyd is talking to Harry, and he's like, just when I think you can't do anything any stupider, you go and do this and totally redeem yourself. That's what I got to think of as soon as I saw this with Bruce Allen. Listen, whether you like Alex Smith or not, I personally am a big Alex Smith fan, but Kirk Cousins is not staying. He's not re-signing with us. Okay, so we have an option with that. We can either get a quarterback and solidify ourselves for the next 4 or 5 years, and also we have a quarterback that has the ability to do just about the same as Kirk Cousins, if not better, and he's going to do it for less than what it would have cost to get Kirk Cousins. I told everyone I was a big proponent of paying Kirk about $20 million a year, or at the most $24 million a year, because that's what the market says for a quarterback that's middle of the pack. For everyone that thinks Kirk Cousins is top 10, you're asininely wrong. I mean, it's okay to be wrong, but you're wrong. He's not a top 10 quarterback. We're going to actually find out. I believe that Kirk Cousins is the product of what's around him. An offensive system that's based upon, just getting so much stuff, crossing routes and things like that to get people open, and Kirk happened to capitalize on it. Where I do think that we're not going to get improvement on is Alex Smith isn't exactly great at the deep ball. And I do recall Kirk Cousins, and this is my point on Kirk Cousins all year, is he's been horrible on throwing the deep ball. So we'll see how it turns out. Man, I think our talent's pretty good. So I think our talent at receiver has been pretty good. And I think Kirk has just always been a safe quarterback. Now Alex Smith is kind of the definition of a safe quarterback. So maybe Jay Gruden can get to him and maybe open up a little bit. And I do think he's talented, and obviously we're going to run the read option. We did it with Kirk a couple times. But Alex Smith did burn us this year when we played him. So he's definitely talented enough to do it. The question is, how is Jay Gruden going to adapt an offense around him and things like that? But I mean, in a general sense, I like it because one, I like Alex Smith. I've always liked him. Two, this just blatantly means two things. Either Kirk Cousins was never going to sign, or B, maybe we have leverage to sign and trade Kirk Cousins on a franchise tag. That would be pretty cool. Like, say, for example, the Browns. They really want Kirk Cousins. And they're okay with, I'm like, hey, what do you want to pay him a year? And like, oh, we'll pay him $30 million a year. Cool, we'll sign and trade him for $30 million a year. You guys get him, we get a draft pick out of it. Cool. That'd be nice. Maybe we'll get a first round pick or something out of it. But, I mean, all this says to me is Kirk was never going to re-sign. That's like, I thought we should have traded him last year, right before the trade deadline, get something out of him. We could have still done this pick and still traded Kirk for something. That was my initial thought. And as I said, this has always been a channel, and everyone always thinks I hate Kirk Cousins. I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I hate more of his fans more than anything. His fans just always have an excuse in their pocket for why he doesn't succeed. It's the offensive line's fault. It's the coaching's fault. It's the running back core. It's the receiving core. Everyone's fault but his. That's just the way that they see it. Okay? He's not a generational talent. He's a top 10 quarterback because of the nature which the NFL is right now. A lot of teams have quarterbacks that are top 10 caliber, but a lot of teams don't have receivers and stuff that just do the things that our receivers do. A lot of Kirk's yards are yak yards. Okay, so we're going to see this year if that's true. This will be an ultimate test because you have a similar quarterback to Kirk Cousins when it comes to arm strength, talent, speed, when it comes to running ability. But he's a little bit older. That's the only difference, is he's a little bit older. And we're going to have the same talent. So if it's the same talent and it's the same type of quarterback, then we should get the same type of results. And we'll find that out. If the talent's not the issue and it's the quarterback, we're about to find that out. So everyone could be all up in arms and complaining about this, but there's a lot of variables at play here that we really don't know the outcome of until we see the first couple seasons with Alex Smith. I really don't think the benefit of this, we don't have to take steps back. Taking steps back would have been like we have to draft the rookie quarterback and start him right away. This prevents us from taking steps back. I don't think we got any worse. I think we got a little bit better at the quarterback position. I think we got a quarterback who's, he's definitely not going to turn it over. Kirk had the most turnovers he's ever had this year. That's fumbles and interceptions combined. Most fumbles he's ever had for turnovers and most interceptions. So maybe that was something that they saw as an issue. And I honestly believe that, considering, our offense was responsible for 150 points. And what I mean by that is every time when Kirk turned the ball over, he would turn it over in a position and they would score. Okay, and that's a proven statistic. I'm not making that up, pulling it out of my ass. Okay, by the Saints game, it was 138 points were combined that our offense was responsible for, because turnovers resulting into points. So, and you can say what you want about the defense, like, oh, the defense is supposed to stop. Well, if you turn it over on the 29-yard line and you give them an opportunity, I'm not saying Kirk's responsible for that. Let me make that clear. The offense is. So that has to do with, like, punts, whenever the punt return, fumble on punt returns, stuff like that, running back fumbles, and then obviously Kirk fumbles and interceptions. That's what it was. I'm not making that stat up. Over 138 points combined. By the Saints game, that's when I stopped looking at the stat, because I'm like, that's ridiculous. So a lot of things that we're going to do that he brings to the table, doesn't turn the ball over. I think our talent level's pretty good. The problem I think he had in Kansas City is I think it's very easy to key on your receivers in Kansas City. Travis Kelce is obviously a good, talented tight end. He's a really good tight end. I'm not going to take that away from him. But the problem with them is they have, Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt and Akeem Hunt, and then they have nothing else. They have really no other receivers. Whereas the Redskins, and then this is where a lot of Redskins fans believe, a lot of Redskins fans don't believe we have a good receiving core. I just think we had a receiving core that, I think it's good, I just think it was misused. Okay? So it was misused. We tried to, here's what happened. We lost Sean McVay, who was a good offensive coordinator. So we lost two receivers. So we tried, instead of remaking the offense to, kind of fit around the talent that we have, we tried to make the offense, we tried to just, squeeze guys into roles that they didn't fit. For example, I think we tried to squeeze Terrell Pryor into that Pierre Garçon role. And nothing, that's not a horrible idea, because Terrell Pryor is a big receiver. But Terrell Pryor needs to be used more like a Anquan Bolden, like use his big body. He had one game, and I mentioned this in another video, where he played and they used him in the tight end slot in a lot of route combinations. He actually did really well. He actually drew a lot more attention, and it opened guys up. So I think that was he was just misused. He still needs to catch the ball, obviously, but he's a receiver playing, or a quarterback playing receiver. Gotta give a guy a little bit of credit, but I just don't think he was used properly. It's like Jamison Crowder. He should be in the slot. You should run double slot receivers and use him in the slot. And they try to squeeze him into the Deshaun Jackson role. Deshaun Jackson's like the fastest player in the league, one of the fastest players in the league, a deep threat. And you're trying to squeeze Crowder into that role. He needs to work off the slot. That's how he gets open. And then they squeezed Ryan Grant into the Jamison Crowder role that Jamison Crowder was last year. So, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to make the offense go dual tight ends. Now, if you're keeping Reed, that's a completely different situation. I honestly think you need to get rid of Reed. Get something in return while you can. Go get Jimmy Graham. Sign Vernon Davis long term. Vernon Davis has been nothing but a gem for us. As cheap as he's been amazing for us. He was one of our most consistent players this year. So keep Vernon Davis. Maybe go get Jeremy Graham. Okay, I think Jeremy Graham would work in a system where he's utilized as more of a receiver than he is as an actual tight end. So I do like Jimmy Graham. Go get him. Give him, maybe trade for him. But Jordan Reed is just too injury prone. I like Jordan Reed. I think he's been a great play. He's one of the most athletic tight ends I think I've ever seen. But he's just injured way too much. And if you don't want to go with the trade, at least try Jeremy Sprinkle. Jeremy Sprinkle's like 6'5". He's a big-bodied receiver or a tight end, and he can block. And he was a rookie last year, and he did pretty well. So go. I think that's his name, Jeremy Sprinkle. I'm pretty confident that's his name. I'm driving right now, so I can't look it up. So I'm going off memory. And then Josh Dobson, who he hasn't completely blossomed into what we want, but he had improvements this year. He needs to catch the ball on a game-winning catch. I will say that. But he has shown that he has improved as a receiver. He has shown that he has worth as a receiver at all. He had bad numbers this year when it comes to thrown to and catches ratio. So that is the only credence I can actually give to Kirk fans, is you didn't always have every receiver being top notch and 100% this year, but there's also statistics to prove that a lot of passes were thrown to be uncatchable. Kirk was 8th in the league in uncatchable balls. And I mean, I'm not going to get into his stat. I'm not here to bash Kirk Cousins. I'm here to say what I think this trade benefits the Redskins, because, I mean, if we did lose Kendall Fuller, there's a lot of rumors that we lost Kendall Fuller. If we lost Kendall Fuller, I don't like that at all. Kendall Fuller, I think, is one of our tight ends our cornerbacks going forward, it was a gem. He was fantastic. He was like one of the best slot corners in the league this year. And I thought he did an extremely good job. And I'd hate to see him go if it is. If we traded Sanua Cravens, that would make sense, because the guy isn't showing up to play. Unless the Redskins have an ulterior plan. Maybe Sanua Cravens come back and done workouts, and maybe they're seeing that, okay, this guy is something special, so we can afford to lose Kendall Fuller. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure of the process line. I know we traded a player and a third-round pick for Alex Smith and a third-round pick. So if it's Kendall Fuller and, that's what we have to do, so be it. I still think our defense was actually pretty good this year. We just happen to have a lot of injuries. So we'll see. I mean, we haven't exactly been horrible in the draft lately. I mean, Brandon Sheriff has been pretty good. Josh Dobson, I think, is about to have a breakout year. So we will see. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say our draft's been great. I mean, but we'll see. I actually don't mind Jay Gruden's ability to evaluate talent. He's proven to me that he has decent talent evaluation. And as long as Bruce Allen goes off of that, talent evaluation, I'm okay with it. Because Kendall Fuller was good. Sanua Cravens wasn't a bad player. I don't know what the situation is with Sanua Cravens, whether he just turned on the bitch mode and just became a pussy and doesn't want to play football and he's afraid of getting hurt or whatever. But I mean, the couple games he played in, he played well for the Redskins. So going forward, I do think there's a lot that we have to look forward to. And I think this trade it cancels out a lot of arguments and questions. A lot of questions like, what's the Redskins' quarterback future? We've solidified that. We don't have to worry about it. We can actually draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round and develop him. And we still have Colt McCoy to be a backup until we develop a quarterback. I will put the quarterback on practice squad so he can develop. We can develop him for 4 years. We legitimately need to look at really good quarterbacks and try to find a gem that we can play as the backup or a 3rd string, or put him on practice squad for 3 years so he can learn how to do the job. If we do that, I think we're good. Because I do think we found a running back in P. Ryan. I think P. Ryan is a running back that... The problem with P. Ryan this year, and this is just a problem I have with Jay Gruden as an offensive coordinator, is P. Ryan is a running back that you have to get him touches to get him going. Once he gets going, he gets ahead of steam as the game rolls on. So in games when he got a lot of touches, he did very well. And the problem with Jay Gruden as an offensive coordinator is Jay Gruden likes to abandon that running game very quickly. Okay, he has tendencies. And I'm not saying he's a bad coordinator, don't get me wrong. I mean, he was very successful in Cincinnati as an offensive coordinator, and he had a balance of run-pass. Okay, the problem with him as a head coach is that he has other duties, so he can't manage all that at once. So his play calling becomes very bland and very predictable because he's got so much going on that he can't be creative. If he's just the offensive coordinator, he can be a lot more creative in his play calling because he has time only to think about calling plays. As a head coach, you have to call plays. You have to make sure the defense is doing their thing while you're calling plays. You have to do all these things at the same time. And I don't think that's a good idea to have him multitasking like that. Not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I personally don't like it. So, my personal opinion, a lot of people may disagree. Like, oh, I love Jay Gruden's play calling. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, Kirk still got 4,000 passing yards this year. The offense was still somewhat productive. The problem is, I think we just don't go for the deep ball enough, and I don't think we threw enough accurate deep balls based on Kirk's deep ball completion percentage. Just don't think that was something that we were doing very well. So that's my personal opinion. I think going forward, this just, locks up the question at who's our quarterback for the next 4 years. We don't have to worry about it. He's a solid starter, okay? And people want to complain that, oh, he has more touchdowns. So now people want to talk about This is what I'm just going to laugh because I'm on a lot of Redskin fan groups. All the Kirk fans were complaining and whining about this. Like, we're taking steps back. We got a guy who has less touchdowns. We got a guy who has So now you're concerned about touchdowns. So last year I made the argument that I don't care how many yards Kirk has. He had like 40, almost 5,000 passing yards. I'm like, that's good. Clap, clap. Good job. But the real issue I had with him was like he went down in touchdowns. And I was like, oh, look at those yards. I'm like, who cares about his yards? I don't care about yards. As a quarterback, I don't give a shit about yards. It's a great accomplishment, but I need quarterbacks to be throwing touchdown passes, getting the ball in the end zone. If you're throwing 49,000 or 4,900 passing yards and you're throwing 40 touchdowns or 35 touchdowns, you know what? I'll give you a clap. That's good. But Kirk dropped his touchdown percentage or total touchdowns. Let me rephrase that. From he had 30 the year before, 29 and up to 25. Okay, if you're increasing your yardage and you're increasing your touchdowns, that's something to be excited about because you're improving in both aspects. Okay, all the 4,900 passing yards shows me is that you're just getting completions and you're just getting yards, and a lot of those yards, and the statistic proves this, almost more than half of Kirk's passing yards are yak yards. So it could be just a product of the system. What if Alex Smith walks out here with our offense next year, puts up 4,500 passing yards and gets 30 touchdowns? What if he does that? Passing touchdowns, not just combined running, passing. 30 touchdowns and he gets about 4,500 passing yards. That's an improvement. And our team goes 10-6. That's a drastic improvement. And if our defense can stay healthy, I think we have good things going forward. So, I mean, people want to look at it, and this is what I meant by referencing that all I saw was people complaining about how many touchdowns Alex Smith had compared to Kirk this year. I'm like, well, first off, Alex Smith on a team with some balance. So that's the first thing. Second, they are a playoff team. Third, there was a lot of issues that went on there that didn't go on in Washington. They started out of the gate hot, and Alex Smith was an MVP candidate. Okay, so a lot of things actually happened in Kansas City that we're not all aware of. Okay, Andy Reid straight up said that the reason that they lost a couple games was not because of Alex Smith. It had to do with other things on the team. When defense is giving up X amount of points all the time, you're not losing because of your quarterback. You're losing because of other reasons. Okay, and the quarterback doesn't turn the ball over very much. Okay, but all these fans are complaining about how many touchdowns he has. I'm like, okay, why didn't you use that same argument whenever you're talking about what Kirk did last year, not this year? Okay, so be consistent in your argument. Nothing against Kirk Cousins. I hope he finds someplace and he's happy. He's a genuinely nice guy. He has his wife's really pretty, and he has his kid's really beautiful. And I think I think he's a good guy. What I will say though is I do think he kind of held the Redskins hostage. Okay, I think he held the Redskins hostage for 3 years because he wouldn't sign a long-term deal. And I get it, he wants to make more money, but at the same time, the Redskins need to know what their future holds. And I think the Redskins made the right decision. This actually is someone who without even stepping inside our locker room, this guy's committing 4 years of his life to the Redskins. Okay? We didn't jerk around Kirk Cousins. He didn't want to sign the deal that he initially was offered, okay? And, people can be mad about that. Like, oh, you didn't offer them this much or that much. What Kirk wants is not worth. He might get $30 million a year on the open market. That's good. That's fine. But he's gonna go to a team and they gotta gut him to pay him. They gotta gut the team to pay him, and it's not gonna be as effective. I do hope I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I hope he has a pretty nice career, because I'm like, hey, that guy was a Redskin once. But in the same breath, I do think this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna go somewhere. He's gonna get paid $30 million a year, and they're gonna have to, not have a good line or a good wide receiver, a good defense. And Kirk will probably put up decent numbers because he's a check down quarterback, so he doesn't make dumb decisions. He just doesn't make assertive decisions. He's not an assertive quarterback. You can't hit him the ball and say go win us a game. He's like, no. I'll do good throughout the process of the team winning, but he's not the reason the team wins on a consistent basis. And he'll go somewhere, and I don't wish an ill will on the guy, just to be honest. But he's gonna go somewhere, and they're gonna have to not have a good lineman or not have a good receiver. And all Kirk fans are gonna say, "Oh, but he has no talent around him." I'm like, if you're worth $30 million a year, you have to be the reason your offense is good. Okay, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, he has no talent around him," and say, but he's worth $30 million a year, so you got to pay the guy. No. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback who you put him on any team in the NFL, no matter what the receiving core is. Alex Smith will find, I'm sorry, I haven't said Alex Smith, I apologize. Aaron Rodgers, you put him on any team in the NFL right now, and he will produce. That is what $30 million a year is worth. You put Tom Brady on any offense, he will find a way to make it work. Let me rephrase this, not any offense, because he does do a little bit of a short passing game. You give him any array of talent in the NFL right now, and he'll succeed. Aaron Rodgers, he'll succeed with any variety of talent. Hell, of Drew Brees. I don't exactly think that about Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think that about Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben Roethlisberger is a product of a really dynamic offense with a bunch of really good receivers, a good tight end, an elite running back, and I actually think Todd Haley's a pretty good offensive coordinator. I wouldn't mind if the Redskins got Todd Haley as an offensive coordinator. He's had a top 5 offense every year he's been there. So, but there are quarterbacks that I think if you give them $30 million a year and you have to, not have as good a receiving core or a good lineman or whatever, that you can still succeed with them. Kirk Cousins is not one of those receivers. And everyone complains and says, oh, it's the market. I'm like, I don't care about the market. Okay? The market may say whatever the market says. Excuse me. Okay, the optics don't say that. Okay, the optics, the stats, the analytics, whatever you want to call. I can make up a million excuses not to pay Kirk Cousins, and Redskin fans, or not to pay $30 million for Kirk, and a bunch of fans will be like, you know what? That's what the market says. That's the only real argument they have. He's not worth $30 million a year, not to this team. You'd have to get rid of. I would rather sign Zach Brown, Mason Foster, the other defensive players we've signed. Okay, I'd rather sign those guys than to sign Kirk Cousins to $30 million a year and have a mediocre offense. And then because we have to sign that quarterback to that much, we're going to, in the result, have a mediocre defense because we can't get high-quality defensive players. I'm sorry, but we have too much going on. And I don't think we're going to be bad on defense. You know why? Because we have a lot of guys on defense that were injured this year. Our 2 draft picks this year. Anderson, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head right now. Anderson. I don't know. I don't remember the other one off the top of my head. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comment, whatever. But I am driving. I'm driving to Maryland to see my parents before I move to Philly. So, honestly, Anderson. God, what is the guy's name? Ryan Anderson, I think is his name, and the other guy. We both of them we got from. I'll probably think of it right after this video is done. But those guys were both pretty much injured this year. They didn't play much. Okay, we had a lot of injuries at the linebacking core. We had Josh Norman was injured most of the year, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's a bum." Well, he's fucking injured. What do you expect? Okay, he's playing injured. He's playing with with injuries and stuff like that. And our defense, again, I'll reiterate, our defense wasn't as bad as people think. Everyone will claim like our defense gave up 26 points per game. Like, yeah, if you add up all the points this year, it's like 300 points, or like 300 some points our defense apparently gave, or our team gave up. But if you look at it from an actual analytical point, a lot of those points were given up by the offense because the offense turned the ball over and the defense, and the opposing offense scored off of that. So that's not like a lie or whatever. It's truth. So that's just the way it is. And if you go look up the stats and you go look it up, like, I'll give a perfect example. The first game of the year, Kirk Cousins had a bunch of turnovers. He had 3 turnovers in that game alone. His first turnover, the fumble, resulted in a touchdown. Okay, the next turnover, a fumble, resulted in a field goal. So there's 10 points. He threw an interception in the red zone. Okay, which resulted in a field goal. So there's another one. Okay, and then he fumbled the ball late in the game, which resulted in another touchdown. So right there is 20 points that Kirk Cousins is responsible for, and that's actually not counting another field goal that resulted in actually one of his turnovers didn't result in any points. So that's 17 points. I apologize, 17 points. One turnover was like a muff punt by Jamison Crowder that resulted in another 3 points. Okay, so those things did occur in the game. So there's 20 points that the offense was responsible for in that game alone. Okay? And we played the Eagles that game. The Eagles weren't that great. What happened was we turned the ball over too many times. Kirk had 3 fumbles in that game and a turnover. And all those fumbles and turnovers resulted in roughly like 20 or 23 points that the offense gave up. Okay? If you don't believe me, go watch the game again. Okay, so, and Kirk actually missed about 5 touchdown passes in the game. You don't believe me? Go watch the game. Everyone will just shoot off the mouth. They won't go check the highlights of the game or whatever. Kirk had 5 overthrows in that game that would have been touchdowns or at least put us in field goal range. So we're missing out on a lot of opportunities to score because our quarterback's not accurate on deep balls. So I'm not gonna rip on Kirk Cousins anymore. I'm not. I'm just explaining that our defense was not as bad as people said. Our offense was responsible for 100. It was 138 points to the letter whenever at the Saints game. Okay, and I actually quit counting after that point. Okay, and then just the way the season ended, I had a bad taste in my mouth, so I wasn't sold on Kirk. If we'd have come out against Dallas or against the Giants and put up like 30 points in his last game as a Redskin, I mean, that leaves a good taste in my mouth. But the last 2 years, he just ended on such bad notes. You can't resign a quarterback for that long term. I think I just solidified the question. You're playing for a contract. You want the team you're on to give you $30 million plus a year. You go out and you ball out, man. He got paid $24 million this year. $24 million. Now, what should have happened is he should have come out. He should have been slinging like 5,000 passing yards, taking those chances, going for broke. He still probably would have got good money, even if he come out and he threw like a couple more interceptions, but he actually put up more touchdowns. So, I mean, this is my video. I'm going to post it just as it is. I'm not going to edit it. This is my personal opinion, so you don't have to believe me and what my opinion is on the Washington Redskins and this trade. This is just what I think of it. Yeah, I'm on like a really bad road right now, so. But I appreciate everyone watching this video. Everyone have a good one. Hail to the Redskins. I'll probably do another video after a bunch of these trades in the draft. See ya.